That one's okay.
We really should have lists on the whiteboard so we can...
It's true. I agree with you.
I've only broken it once.
All right, here we go.
Are we on? Is asshole okay? I know that's frowned on like on episode.
Well, Zach speaks
Actually,
all the time, so.
that one I don't know. You might have just broken it. I'm not sure.
I think it's really.
13.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's really just certain F and C words.
What about
F
arsehole?
and C and
Does that make it any
both
better?
C words probably
Yeah.
will get you over.
Cancer?
No S word?
Yeah, that one too. Thanks, Catherine.
Maybe certain S words, but in moderation, I think.
Keep
Yeah.
everything awkward.
All right, let's begin. You ready?
Yeah.
On this episode of the CultureSmash Cast,
Pixar goes back to the well.
Sony should be bit by a poisonous spider.
Speaking of bugs, stupid bugs, all this, plus Steven gets a lot of complaint mail because spiders aren't bugs.
Spiders aren't insects, but couldn't you call them bugs?
They're
They're
bugs.
arachnids.
Still a bug.
I don't know, maybe, well, I guess
They're
the
not-
problem is bug isn't technically a,
Yeah.
And now you're
Is
gonna
it
get
technically a word?
Term.
You're gonna get a lot of hate though because they are bugs.
That's true.
Probably not.
They're not lobsters.
Spiders,
you know
the
what?
difference between
I think they are because there's a spider in a bug's life.
Oh. Oh.
Touche.
There are
And that-
also
that makes it
plants in a bug's
definitive.
life.
That's true.
Yeah, but
So they're
plants
bugs.
don't talk.
There's water in a bug's
No,
life.
no, no.
That's a
The
bug.
spider is part of the cast and the cavalcade of characters made of bugs. The plants don't talk.
Oh, you see?
I'm going to Dr. Internet.
But
Dr. Internet.
there is a
Don't
bird
go to
in
Dr.
there,
Internet. You won't
but
get
the
away.
bird does not talk
That's
to them.
true.
The bird only talks bird.
Shoot, shoot, shoot.
So there.
So luckily I was
Mine?
fluent in bird. I
Mine?
understood all of the dialogue.
It is kind of like the...
So that bird barely counts. 'Cause
You know,
So basically, birds aren't sentient species apparently, but bugs are.
they are. Bugs are evil. Kind of like the goat's eye.
Like goatee?
That goat has the devil eye.
No, that just went right over your head.
None of the goatee. Mm-mm.
So we're going now.
Yeah, we're going. We're officially. Things are happening.
Oh, goodness.
So should you introduce the episode?
Well, I should hit record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I asked if we were going.
Yeah. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
This is official. This is happening. It's a CultureSmash Cast, episode 340 for November 12, 2014. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of CultureSmash.tv. To the right of me,
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
and the right of him,
Dwayne Pate, bug researcher for CultureSmash.tv.
of course. And on the left side of the situation here, what
Mike
is this?
Young, contributor to CultureSmash.tv this
Nice,
week.
got it right this week. I'm impressed. On the sofa,
Catherine Holder, contributor to CultureSmash.tv and purveyor of all bugness.
oh,
That didn't work out as well.
it was a nice try though. What do you think
Oh,
about
it
that?
sounded
Zach?
so much better in your head, didn't it?
It really
Zach?
did.
Oh,
Wow.
is it my turn?
It's your turn. Get it
Zach
over with.
Martin, contributor to CultureSmash.tv.
It's true. All right. I wanted to start the show with some like little quip or something.
You mean before we start fighting about Interstellar?
Before we start fighting about Interstellar, that's true. That's true. I'm gonna set some parameters about that too.
I'm going to be
by the
standing
way.
out the fight since I actually didn't get to see it yet.
Yeah.
How did you get the ref?
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
That's true.
All
That's
right.
true. Yeah. All right. So let's get on with it, Dwayne. You get the first story.
That was
You like that, right? We just got right into it this week. I'm gonna have my
Dateline
coffee.
USA, scientists have discovered a virus that actually makes people more stupid. It's called the ATCV1.
This explains that.
It was,
Oh.
Ouch.
and was initially
See?
only known to appear in algae, but now researchers believe the virus may be transferred to humans through DNA.
How can you
Stupid
tell algae
algae.
gets stupid?
Some algae is
Exactly
real
what I was
stupid.
thinking.
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. I'm telling you.
But it doesn't get dumber, though. That's the thing. It gets sick and it gets even more stupid.
Stupid algae.
Makes me so stupid
So
algae.
much.
Hate you, algae.
James Van Etten, William Arlington, Distinguished Professor of Plant Pathology and Co-Director of the Nebraska Center for Virology,
In the chat room, oh my god, you guys sound stupid.
states that green
What's the
algae
difference?
I know.
is very common among inland bodies of fresh water, such as lakes and ponds. This is the first documented instance of the DNA of algae traveling to another biological kingdom.
And of course, it's for people.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Scientists conducted a study with 92 participants. They would have had 100, but 8 were unable to find the building.
8 were too stupid to get there.
One guy's just standing outside the push door, like trying to slide it open.
No,
Not even pulling it.
he's pulling on it. Yeah.
40 tested positive for the virus, and they did worse on cognitive intelligence test. DNA from the algae could be found in throat swabs from healthy humans. When tested on mice, the contagion broke through the barrier between blood and tissue, altering the activity of the genes in their brains. Once one of the genes affected was wait, let me try that again. One of the genes affected the most were those that produce dopamine, which influences memory, spatial awareness, emotion, and pleasure.
And did you say leisure or pleasure?
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
And possibly leisure
Dopamine is
as well.
released when you have fun times.
Yeah, me love the
Dopamine's
fun.
released when you eat.
Well, sometimes
Sometimes
eating
you can do both, and that's the best
Well,
time.
That's
ever.
when you get the best of
Like,
everything.
Yep, George Costanza. George
That's
Costanza.
right.
It didn't really work well for George. If I
Yeah, but
recall that episode.
George was already infected by the stupid bug. That's why it didn't work out for him.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's still unclear on how ATCV1 comes to affect humans, but at least now we can blame our slower moments on something.
I think they ate it
Yeah.
because that's how it was in the throat swabs. That's my story, and I'm going to stick to
It's
it.
like that algae looks delicious.
I think maybe to become infected by this, you have to have a baseline dumbness to start
Exactly. You have to be, your immune system must be low. And thank you, Catherine, for agreeing in the chat room. They sound stupid.
with.
She meant-
I said
us.
they sound stupid,
Yeah.
not you guys. She was implying. It sounded like you were implying everybody, but Ada, it's true. You know that I'm the smartest person in the room, maybe.
So,
Oh.
movies.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Except for you, but you're not in this room.
Wow.
Sorry,
We're-
vaginas unite.
Movies.
I'm fine with that.
I would watch that.
I would watch it too. Yeah, it's a sequel.
I walked right into that one, silver platter.
Are you really the smartest one in the room? Then just,
I'm just naive. There's a difference between naivete and stupidity.
it's true.
There's a lot of different kind of smarts, and in this room, I feel like we've got people who excel in different areas.
Yeah, I agree with
It's
you.
very true.
I agree
It's
with
very
you.
true. That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah,
You still have your
my
teacher hat
That's
on.
my teacher answer.
Yeah, he's still got his
about to say.
teacher ID on too. That's amazing.
That's probably something I need to know.
I'm going to go to work tomorrow.
There you go.
They will gun you down now.
I can pull this. I think I can pull this look off.
I think you can do it. All right, so here's the box office in case anybody cares. Number 10 over the weekend was The Book of Life. That one made $2.7 million. It's made $45 million so far on a $50 million budget. Number 9 is Alexander in the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And this is almost gone from the list.
Because you don't like saying anything.
I hate saying it. I'm too stupid to read lines out.
Book of Life dropped a really good bit though.
Big time.
Yeah, because it went from
66.
Thanks to, I don't think Big Hero 6 had a big.
I'm pretty sure as well. I mean, a new kids movie. I like Book of Life. I hope it does eventually make its money back.
I still kind of want to see it. Alexander, we did that right. $59 million that was made on a $28 million budget, so that's success.
Mhm.
Number 8, John Wick, made another $4 million. That one's made $34.8 on a $20 million budget, which is probably for that kind of movie about right.
Yeah, I would
It's kind of like
think
the
so.
Liam Neeson movies where you knock it out for 20 and you make 40 and you're done.
Yeah.
You know, it's about right. Number 7 is Nightcrawler. It made $5.3 million. That one's made $19.6 on an 8.5. There you go, Nico. You love those.
I actually still want to see that movie.
I do too.
I still can't get over the fact that it's not about the X-Men.
I know. Yep. Number 6 is St. Vincent. That one made 5.4 on a $27 million budget. Or $27 million so far it's made. That's not the budget. We don't know the budget yet. Number 5 is Fury. That one's made 5.6. It's made 69 so far on a $68 million budget. So
Finally got its budget.
barely. Number 4 is Ouija. That one made $5.8 million. It's made 43 so far on a $5 million budget.
How is it still in the top 5?
I know.
It's November.
It's kind of crazy.
Because stupid people.
Is it decent? Like, what are the ratings?
No,
What are
it's,
the-
like
it's-
all its
it's
ratings, like every critical rating I've like read
It's
about
bad.
it, it's really bad.
Everybody who went to go see it ate some algae first.
That's right. That's it.
That's what it was.
That's it. All right, so number 3 is Gone Girl. Made another $6.2 million. That one's sticking around. 145.5 so far on a $61 million budget.
I have some friends that went to go see this on Monday on their anniversary. They told me this is not the movie you see on your anniversary.
It's true. The only part of that story that I don't believe is that you had friends.
Aw. I don't understand. A lot of people have been saying, like, oh, this is a great date movie. I'm like,
No,
is it?
it's not.
You need to be, like, very, very comfortable. If you go see it with, like, a significant other, you need to be very comfortable with them. There's one scene that involves Neil Patrick Harris that makes everybody cringe.
I don't know.
Maybe you come out of it a better couple after that. I
That's
don't know. Or maybe you come back to your apartment complex and then some drunk girl gets in the back of your car and you don't know whether she's going to do crazy things.
That only happens to you because you're naive.
That wasn't naivete that time. That was craziness.
It's true.
You don't know that story?
No.
I'll have to tell you later.
Right.
Opening this week. Oh wait, we gotta finish. Number 2 was Interstellar. It had an opening weekend, $47.5 million on a $49 million budget.
No, it would.
49 so far.
Since it opened up early last week.
Did it open Tuesday?
It opened Tuesday in IMAX film. Like if it was showing on film, it opened up on Tuesday.
Yeah. $165 million budget, which is still, in a way, to me, seems low for that movie.
You think it's due to length?
I think it's economical filmmaking because the length will make it more expensive. I'm talking about the budget, not the money it made.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the money it made.
The money it made is because it's, well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Number 1 over the weekend was Big Hero 6. That one made $56 million to own the weekend. I guess it opened on Friday, so that's what it's made so far, and $165 million
Same budget.
budget there too.
Less days, and it still got number 1.
Still made the same money. Yeah. Opening this weekend is Dumber and Dumberer 2.
Dumb and Dumber?
Dumb and Dumberer 2. Okay, so Interstellar, what I was going to say, I feel like Interstellar, right toward the end of its marketing, got this sort of brainy vibe to it that probably scared a lot of people off.
I think you're right.
It wasn't as, mainstream friendly as people originally thought it was going to be. And that probably hurt it a little bit.
No, the weird thing about it is
it's 3 hours long, so you can only have so many showings a day.
I think the link helped, particularly with the showing count. And the weird thing about the brainy thing is, I think Inception also got that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference with Inception is it's also a heist movie, so that's intrinsically more fun to think about, even though it was very much shooting for that kind of brainy.
And also, Inception trailers had this sort of Matrix-y kind of action.
Yeah.
That really appealing.
No idea what he was even about.
But with Interstellar, you got the idea that it had that kind of same cerebral feel without that kind of fun action side of it. It didn't quite feel like it was going to be as landmark as, say, like Gravity was. So I think that probably ended up hurting it.
Yeah, and there were probably even people that were gonna go, and then they looked and saw that it was in 3 hours and changed their mind. That would change my mind a lot of times. So I would be, nah.
When I went and saw it, the guy next to me was like, "How is this movie?"
Yeah.
He was like, "Really? Oh man."
Since we're talking about that, let me start with this. For a movie that left me feeling...
All right, wait. Let me set a couple of parameters before we get into this discussion. The first thing is, every time we've discussed this movie since we saw it, all of us, everybody wants to compare the movie to Gravity. That, to me, is like comparing... That's like comparing...
I did also open with that.
It's like comparing apples and oranges because they're in the same bowl. It's two totally different film experiences. Two totally different kinds of storytelling.
Space, and they deal with at one point space debris.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I was thinking...
Spoilers, there's space debris in Interstellar.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah. So, anyway, if you've been to the website, if you're listening to this and you've seen that Zach wrote a review, he wrote... What was the score you gave it?
6.5.
6.5. So, going in, Mike... And I feel like you and me and Catherine, we all had kind of really low expectations.
I was wondering
Spoilers,
if it
there
would be
was
great,
a
but I
score.
was afraid it was going to be bad.
Yeah. And we all came out, as is pretty common in this group, saying just how stupid Zach is.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, pretty like you ate a lot of algae. But
I
then,
haven't read your review, but just based on your score alone, I feel like we're in the same ballpark here.
Okay.
which
I'm not alone.
sadly
alone.
for Dwayne, yeah, but also Dwayne is a negative Nelly when it comes to movies, which is okay because I love that.
That's true.
It
But they
is.
are
We
not
have the
alone
things that I
because
really,
If it's
like.
got the words X-Men Days of Future
Yeah,
Past
that
in
was-
it, it's
oh
pretty.
my God.
That's true.
Can
That's
we talk
true.
about that movie again?
looking for articles last night, there seemed to be a theme out there that poor things the Interstellar got wrong, or what Christopher Nolan needs to fix in his next
Oddly
movie.
enough, I
Yeah.
saw
not to make the same mistakes that he made in Interstellar.
Well,
I saw
You
an
know,
article
that's,
that's kind of the opposite with Neil deGrasse Tyson saying it's like, oh yeah, this one's actually better than Gravity.
Yeah,
Getting
but
some of the
I
science.
saw that, yeah, and he said that the science was not 100% right, but it was more on than a lot of other movies have been.
But I would even complain because the science in
I don't care about movie science.
Interstellar is theoretical,
Yeah.
whereas in Gravity, it's more of a, this is more of a fantasy.
But can I say something?
Gravity is.
I mean, again, we're comparing those two movies,
yeah,
and I
well,
set the parameter not to.
I'm
But
comparing it because it was brought up.
But
in
with
Mad
that said,
Scientist, which seems
since
strange.
we're doing that, with that said, they're both freaking movies. They're not like Stephen Hawking seminars. It's a movie.
Well, that's
But that
not
is one
necessarily
thing-
true because Interstellar is supposed to have was supposed to have
okay,
somebody on
but
staff
Gravity
to
never
kind of
sold
say,
that. Gravity never said,
and
"Oh,
that's why
we're
I
going to
don't
be
understand
scientifically
why
accurate."
that
No,
Which is why we get
There's
back to
two
the
different
reason we
different
can't
different
compare.
I think this is getting away from the point about again. What do you feel about the movie?
Basically, I came out of the movie ready to give it an 8 to 8.5, and I think you said more than
I would
that.
probably give it a 9. Yeah,
I
Okay.
was 9.5.
But then again, I tend to get a little bit more emotional about things. I'm not as rationally critical. But I was just floored. I was just blown away by it.
What was your number, Dwayne?
2.
I'm hovering in the 6.5 range. I have to really sit down and analyze some things about it. I could have seen a lot more of that first act where they're on Earth
Mm-hmm.
and kind of that scene when they're going after the drone. And I'll try to not get into really spoilerly things. There was something I liked that family. I liked this world that they presented to us, and I liked the direction the movie was going. But
I agree with you. I think they could have spent a little more time on Earth in that first act, but then you wouldn't have seen all the spectacularness that had come on later because the visuals were absolutely stunning, and it wasn't just the visuals. Like, spoiler alert, they go into space.
If I was judging this movie based on the visuals, I would have given it like a 10.
Well, of course, and I'm not just talking about that, but and I didn't get to see it in IMAX. But the cool thing, I'm not, because for me,
a lot
it's
of
the
people on the
story as
internet
well.
are just saying, "Oh my gosh, those visuals! How could you?"
I'm legally
Well, the
blind. I don't
visuals-
give anything points based off visuals.
When they're going up into space, and it wasn't just that, it was the audio as well. It was insanely overwhelming
Well,
at times.
that
Like
gets
when
to
they're lifting off and they're still talking to each other and you can't really hear. I was like having panic attacks because they're like, I can't, we're going into space and I can't do this.
you just
I can
turned
imagine
into,
seeing
you
it
just
in
turned
IMAX.
into your mother a little bit.
I did,
BTW.
just a little bit. I can't, Katie, I need a glass of wine.
Yeah,
Take the box.
But that gets to the overall experience of going to the movies.
It does, and that's what I was talking about, that I halfway loved being so overwhelmed because it was a really, really cool effect.
When's the last time we had a movie, an epic movie of this like magnitude that you just, this even if you, it's like it even if you don't love it, it's still, you can't deny that it didn't swing for the fences.
Well, like, okay, and
Name
this
a
is-
movie that's as epic as this one in the last 10 years. Come on, Zach, you can do it.
Okay.
I feel like
That's
Avatar
epic.
falls into that category.
Avatar.
No, I don't think so. No,
Wait,
not
Well,
for me.
it
I was
depends on
gonna
what
say
you're talking
Lord of the
about.
Rings, but
Swinging
that's
for your
not
fences
the
in
best.
what?
Yeah,
In
I mean, if you're talking about
well,
the visuals and audio,
because
like,
then I would say
performance.
Gravity.
it basically.
Gravity to me is a small movie.
yeah.
Really?
Gravity's a very small.
That movie, like,
It
it
comes
made
down
me
to-
feel so incredibly
It's not
claustrophobic.
small
Yeah.
in that
That's
sense,
epic.
but it's it's a personal story, a very personal story.
Yeah, this one.
You mean such a grand sweeping
Whereas-
thing where it's
right.
like Gone with the Wind, where
Like
it's
an
like,
epic scale. That's
Yeah.
why they call it epic.
Okay,
Yeah.
there
It's
we
like
go.
Lawrence of Arabia epic, where you see 1,000 horses on the screen.
Yeah, but and it's not just epic scale and look. It's epic everything. It's epic in scope and epic in character and
I gotcha.
visuals and audio. Everything is huge in the movie, and I just can't think.
Titanic.
Maybe something like Gladiator.
Last
Yeah,
10
that's always
years.
in the list.
You know?
Oh.
Like, now there's Gladiator.
Yeah,
not
Gladiator
less
wouldn't
than
be
yours.
either at this point.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
it's tough. It's really tough. I mean it really, I love how some people probably hate it, but I love the Kubrickness of the movie at times.
I think he had just enough of it
He did.
Mhm.
that he didn't go overboard and it wasn't.
Because I get so bored with 2001. Now I don't feel like I have to watch it. I can just
Yeah.
watch this one instead, which is great by me.
Which is weird because it's longer.
Yeah, but 2001
I got
is
a question for Dwayne.
trying.
When it comes to your score and your problems with the film, does it have to deal with the last 30 minutes of the film?
Some of it,
Because
yes.
for me, it was.
Some of it, yes, and I have something that I want to discuss afterwards because it gets real spoilerly, and it's just kind of an upsetting thing about a character in the movie. I feel like there was a lot of big heartstring tugs in the movie, like they were overdone in parts.
Okay, when we came out of the movie, that was my only complaint. Is there's a lot of melodrama in the movie. There are 2 or 3 times I didn't feel like it worked, but it's in there like 6 or 8 times.
Yeah.
So that's why I took a point and a half off.
It still wasn't to the Spielberg level.
No,
of
it
I was
wasn't.
about to say.
banging you over the
I-
head.
Do you know Spielberg was set to direct this at one time,
No, I did not.
and
It would have been.
it would have been a different movie.
It really would have been.
In some ways, it would have been better.
cerebral.
In some ways, it would have been worse.
I would have liked to see what Spielberg.
Well,
had in store
ultimately,
for
what
us.
would have happened is Spielberg would have gotten a hold of that movie and done what he did with AI. Since we're talking about Kubrick,
Yeah.
it was amazing till the last 5
And
minutes.
it would have been way more melodramatic because I wasn't as big of a fan of AI.
I think, but I wouldn't. That's a hard thing to compare it to because AI was not. Again, it's Kubrick was working on it already.
Some of it he already
So
made,
so
yeah.
you can't
Actually,
really
Kubrick,
compare.
I know a lot of people compare about that last, 10 minutes of AI where it goes into a different tone.
Yeah.
That's actually Kubrick.
No,
Yeah, it's been
that's
proven Kubrick
that's
wrote
not
that
true.
ending.
One piece of that ending was definitely Spielberg.
But the point of it is, you can't say it would feel a lot like AI when it really like halfway through Spielberg came in or whatever
Yeah.
point because a lot of it Kubrick had already done. You would need to compare it more to a film that Spielberg was at from the start.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that one could work. It wouldn't necessarily work well for Spielberg, but
And War
that
of the
would-
Worlds is a movie that's pretty good about to the halfway point. And then it kind of.
But kind of bringing it back to Interstellar, one of the things I love about the movie, it got so many of the little things right, as well as the big things, the big sweeping themes of humanity and the possibly the end of humanity and what links are people willing to go to ensure it doesn't end.
Mhm.
Just those big questions and but then also the very personal questions,
Mhm.
between a father and a daughter. But even beyond just the emotional stuff, it ended up being adding to the emotion of it. One thing is just how we talk about how visual it is, how good it looks. Some of the spacings are just unbelievably gorgeous.
Yeah.
But even like when they're in one of the ships and they're looking out and trying to dock with another one, and it's got you see this through the portal, and you see the other ship going. It looks just like some of that NASA footage.
Yeah.
It's just it's got that harsh lining, those that makes every line just really crisp and hard.
Mhm.
It looks every little
Well,
bit of it like that
And
was
I
just
heard
dead on.
that that Christopher Nolan tried to use as little CGI as possible.
Because that's Nolan.
put
He
them-
loves
And I
as much
love that.
practical
And you can
effects as he
totally see.
possibly
Oh
can.
yeah, they were in the actual, not an actual spaceship, but they built a spaceship for them.
They were in the
Anytime you
actual
saw it like that.
space.
They were in actual space.
They were on actual other
Everybody's
planets.
actually dead right now.
Exactly.
That's how real the movie
That's
is.
how dedicated Christopher Nolan is to the craft.
Exactly. Well, and a step back from it too. The thing about it is there's so many layers of story. Like, you can have something very small character-wise that calls back to an epic, huge event in the movie, and it just adds a punch to things when they happen. You know, and it's funny. There's one thing in the last couple of minutes of the movie that made me kind of chuckle because it felt really wrong for a minute, and then once everything sort of started to happen, I settled into it. I'm like, oh, okay, now I got it. But I feel like this is going to be an interesting movie to watch a couple more times and see what little other nuggets there might be that I didn't see the first time.
I want to see it several more times.
It's one of those movies that it has genuine big ideas in it, and it actually does a good job of presenting them and telling a story around them.
And now when you get to the science part of it, it may or may miss the mark on some things. Well, but you know what? My thing is,
like Dwayne was saying, this really is more of a kind of most of the science in Interstellar is more theoretical.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting out there to the edges of physics and what's in wormholes and black holes and all that crap. Whereas Gravity was more just straight.
We're comparing.
I know we're kind of coming back to it, but
I didn't do that. You did.
I know. Sorry, but whereas there's going to be plenty of room to pick at it for like the little stuff, the little practical things, like one of the things that, like I remember we discussed one of the things, which I don't know if that would probably be spoilery to get into it, but there are some little things you can think, well, why if they can do this, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
It's a little
but
movie
that's
stuff.
Come with that kind of
yeah, but I think there are going to be those little practical things, but I think it's going to. I really think it's going to hold up amazingly well with the bigger ideas.
You know, the thing is, when I look at it, it's a movie. It's a movie. You know, I don't look at it.
But now,
if you market your movie as being 100% scientifically accurate, then you.
But
you mean like Human Centipede?
Exactly. That one is.
He has done that to some extent, though.
Well, and
he's made a big deal about I can't remember the guy. Is it Kip Thorne or something like that? And I think they even wrote a book about the science of Interstellar, which goes into like what's feasible, what's possible, or where they kind of went away from it a little bit. So he's kind of brought a little bit of that on himself because he has to a certain extent.
Honestly, don't say that. You're out of the show.
Oh, sorry.
I think the trick,
especially when I'm talking.
Exactly. I think the trick with a movie like Interstellar is not whether it's good science or bad science. It's a movie. Any kind of science holds up. It has to do with, do you bring it to the movie-going audience in a way that it's understandable? And I feel like there was a little bit of technobabble in this movie, but it wasn't enough. I kind of like that kind of thing. So it's hard for me to put myself in somebody else's place and say, is this something that would I get this? Is this easy to follow? I felt it was overall.
Yeah, I didn't have too much of an issue with it. Now the thing that stuck out to me was when Zach saw it. I think he really had ate the algae because he said that that this movie had way more of an unclear ending than.
Yeah.
That is that's an interesting.
And that's so completely wrong.
I'm not talking about the end. Okay, I'm not talking about that.
No spoilers.
I know, and I can't.
Well, that's something we can. Discuss.
I know.
We'll discuss later.
We'll discuss in post.
So,
but this is a movie that people. The biggest success of this movie is it's such a conversation piece.
Can I mention the first few minutes of the film? There is a scene where there's a crash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the person in my theater wanted to see if the speaker could go up to 11 or not, but it was overdone. I don't know if it's a theater fault or if it was actually the sound.
That's one thing.
There's
a lot of internet rumbling about problems with the sound.
It was
the first scene.
Yeah, that, and it comes back again later at some point. But it was bad enough that it was really extremely jarring, and it kept going on. Like I could feel the sound for several minutes after it stopped, and it goes over. It's over. You miss bits of dialogue because of it.
Now you know what? Honestly, there's part of me that really puts that on Nolan's shoulders because I was going to say this earlier, but when we were talking about his marketing of the movie, the more I pay attention to him, the more douchey he becomes. He is a real douchey guy. And then this is not the first audio issue we've had. Anybody remember the last Batman movie when you couldn't hear the villain talk the entire movie?
Yeah.
And then when they fixed it, it sounded ridiculous. Part of the reason that movie is sucky.
No, actually, there were a lot of reasons. Once you understand Bane, that's not really the problem. I'd rather than fix Batman's voice over Bane's voice.
Yeah.
I don't mind Bane sounding like Sean Connery. I mind not understanding Batman. That's a problem.
Yeah. Well, if Batman was actually in the movie.
And that's actually how you know how douchebaggery it is, because that was the complaint for Dark Knight. Like, everyone loved Dark Knight, but the main complaint that I saw about the movie is, like, Batman gravelly voice. Like, I can't understand what Batman's saying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't corrected. He doesn't have the same voice in Batman Begins. He definitely alters his voice, but you can understand what he's saying. Then it goes for such a deep, gravelly voice in Dark Knight. And then it's the same one in Rises. Like, why didn't you fix that? Change the direction.
It's true.
But there's
overall, though, that audio is spectacular in that movie.
Overall, yeah.
There might be one or two times it's a little bit too much. Because I agree with you. There was one time that I did have a little bit of an issue.
Well, it was when they
dialogue.
were taking off. It was both of those times. But here's the deal. And that's what I was talking about, being overwhelmed, because there was so much sound, and I could feel the sound, and there was so much chaos on screen, but I felt almost like it was a 3 or 4D experience where, you know, like
well,
you're
that's
in one
funny,
of those special
without
theaters.
spoiling anything.
Huh?
That's funny, without getting too spoilery. That
Well,
you would say that it's
There's
was
a
it a-
takeoff, and the very first
a
scene
5D
is a
experience?
dream. The very first scene is a dream that Matthew McConaughey is having. It's the very first scene. That's not that spoilery. And they take off into space, y'all.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert!
So,
My favorite thing about this movie is how passionate Catherine is about it, and it's not a Disney thing.
I love sci-fi. I love sci-fi, and I have no idea why, but metaphysical things and, like, things that, science that confounds me because it's so theoretical and I can't grasp it. The fact that I can't grasp it just fascinates me more.
And you're the smartest person in the room.
Because I have a vagina. But it's like, it's
I like how you point
contacts.
at it when you say you have it.
I do. I have one.
well,
And I
you know,
point at it.
how would we know otherwise?
I have a penis.
So,
Thumbs up.
I saw Big Hero 6.
And
It was good.
what else you got to say about it? Is that it?
What else
Is
you
that
got?
all you got?
Moving on. No, I liked it. It was really fun. It's kind of weird because I'm the only one who saw Big Hero 6. I'm the only one
I
who
wanna see
didn't
it.
see Interstellar.
Sorry about it. You chose the wrong movie.
You
I
kinda
actually disagree.
I don't feel that way.
I really enjoyed Big Hero 6.
wouldn't.
I'm sure I
Already
I
will.
want to see Big Hero.
I'm sure I will also enjoy Interstellar, but I had so much fun in being such a big superhero fan as I am with Big Hero 6. It plays up a lot of the tropes really well. It has.
Is it a little bit anime-ish? Because I was really afraid of that. Because it has a style that's like a little too kid
it's
anime,
not
like Young
really
Teen
like
Titans or something.
storytelling. It's not. It is very much just a Disney movie.
But do you get
storytelling.
where I pull that from?
No, I get it.
Character.
Well, you get it right from the intro that the city is San Francisco. It's San Francisco and Tokyo, and they go for a mix mash of that kind of West Coast San Francisco and
what happened
Tokyo
to the
aesthetic.
Pacific?
And it's still there. It's just a
okay.
fictionalized city, and it has a big giant robot aesthetic as well. The main character's got all these giant robot
like
toys, and he's got his clock is basically Mazinger Z with his hands being the arms of the clock, which is nice.
Great.
That's cool.
He's almost always wearing a giant robot shirt. But it still holds up very well as a superhero movie. I don't think it's spoilery to say that it's got one of the best Stan Lee cameos in any of the movies I've
he was
seen.
in there. He's an animated Stan Lee.
You'll see it. You'll see it, and also not spoilery because it is almost essentially a Marvel property. Stay after the credits.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think all the characters are really done well, and it hits a lot of good emotional
Alright.
centers.
Well, I might see that this weekend because the only other option is Dumb and Dumber 2. So.
I would definitely recommend seeing this one over Dumb and Dumber. It's
we
not,
will find a movie that we'd like the same. I swear to God.
what about
Wayne,
X-Men?
I swear. No, I think you liked it better than me.
I did like it better,
Yeah.
but we both liked it.
We both did like it. That's true.
There you go.
Well, it's just like now. There's about a point and a half difference between us. We will both
It
see
was
a
just
9 movie at some
higher up
point.
the scale.
That's true. Yeah, that's higher up the scale. That's true. All right.
Well, maybe we all just all go see Ouija.
We would all
Apparently,
hate it
everyone
equally.
loves
Yeah.
Ouija except for critics.
That's true. All right, Nico, you got a story.
Yes.
Sony is trying to find a new direction for the Spider-Man franchise.
Thank
And
God.
some rumors are getting crazier and crazier where they're going to take it because they're trying to keep it and not give it back to Marvel. Rumors such as villain-centric series such as the Sinister Six and Venom, Venom and Carnage movies, and a female-led Spider-Man movie. Right now, the craziest rumor to come, an Aunt May movie.
Wow.
It's a movie
Who's
star.
playing it?
Well, it's a rumor.
That's exactly what we
So-
need is an Aunt May movie. I'm just saying.
It's Aunt May young before Peter Parker, before Spider-Man. The basic rumor is it's going to be more of an espionage story. Basically, kind of trying to be Agent Carter without being Agent Carter. It's not the first time an Aunt May story kind of has existed before. Back in 2003, Marvel produced a Mark Miller penned romance miniseries called Trouble that was thought to be kind of a new origin for Spider-Man. It featured teenage versions of Aunt May, Uncle Ben, and Peter's parents, Richard and Mary Parker. Basically, through the series, May gets teen pregnant by Richard, and the child is Peter, who gives the child to Mary, so that Aunt May is the technical mother of Peter Parker. That never actually got
That's so
canonified in Spider-Man in Marvel canon,
Yeah.
so it's not actually accurate.
I don't know what this picture is I'm showing right now, but I binged
There-
young Aunt May, and it's just.
There's also a lot
funny
of great
picture,
what
so
ifs
put
that
it.
you can find Aunt May. Aunt May being like Iron Man.
That's great.
There's a great one is like, what if Aunt May was the Herald of Galactus?
Aunt.
Which I think that should be the one that they make.
Oh, and Golden Oldie is Aunt May in Iron Man.
That was fun.
So, but
Pretty great.
basically the rumor is that I have no belief in this thing being accurate. That somebody trying to make an Aunt May movie. I think honestly, Sony's trying to flood the market to make people still think that they have Spider-Man,
the only
which they still do. But I mean, if the next Spider-Man movie isn't slated to be until like what 2017.
it
I think,
still
at this
feels
point.
like they don't have a direction for the character, though. You know, I mean, they've made two mediocre, well, one horrible and one mediocre movie.
I really liked Amazing Spider-Man 2. It felt
No.
it's not great. Now I will admit
Okay,
that.
we both agree on this one, I think.
I think I
might have liked it a little better.
A lot
I
more.
think
more.
this one is probably like a 6.5.
That's where I put it.
I had a lot of fun with it. Technically, it's got problems.
Yeah.
But I think it invokes a feel of
The
Spider-Man.
things that were right, and you have a soft spot for
Spider-Man, yes.
If you have a soft spot for him. I think you can get a lot past you if he makes some quips and makes jokes
Yeah,
and stuff while he fights.
it gets Spider-Man right, which has been the problem.
It got Spider-Man right, and they did a good job with Gwen Stacy.
I agree.
But Electro was kind of sucky.
I also agree.
The villain in this Spider-Man.
I would love to see a good
Sure.
villain as well. I agree. The villain was weak. I didn't like the whole backstory with Electro. I didn't like that he was that nerdy scientist guy that gets an infatuation. They basically made him the Riddler from Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what they did. It
Yeah.
was stupid. But
And they set this whole thing up, and I hate it where you have this superhero like Spider-Man who through some random and not random now because they've done so much weird stuff with the story, gets his power, and every villain he fights comes from the same major company that
I
created
agree
it.
as
It's
well.
stupid and weird.
Oddly enough, they do that in the Ultimate Spider-Man 2, but it's not. I guess it's graining, but it's still annoying. I actually was okay with how they pulled off the Harry Osborn Green Goblin thing, but that was such a smaller part of the movie that if that was the villain, that would have been okay. The Electro could have been gone from the movie, but I think they got Spider-Man the character right, and that's the thing that annoys me so much is because I want them to get the rest of it right.
Yeah.
So we can actually get a good Spider-Man movie.
They can do it. All they have to do is give it to Marvel.
Yeah, if they give it to Marvel, and Marvel just keeps Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, I'm okay. That's the best
and
solution.
it feels like if they could do something like they did with the one that Zack Snyder directed, Watchmen.
Oh,
Because that was a partnered film that had was it Sony or it had
Fox didn't really do.
It was Fox and Warner Brothers were in that.
Fox-
Warner Brothers made the movie. And
Didn't one of them just kind of quit suing everybody?
No,
I could have thought that was Paramount.
no.
It wasn't-
So okay,
I don't remember.
all right.
What it
So
was.
Fox a long time ago had the rights to Watchmen and supposedly lost it. But then when Warner Brothers started making a movie and was about to release it, Fox said, actually, we didn't lose it. We're going to sue you guys to stop it. And they settled. So that's basically how it worked out. Fox didn't do anything with the movie.
They should just take a bunch of money from Marvel and give it up.
They really should just be distribution. They really, or something. They don't need to produce the movie. Well, actually, that one's... we're getting away from ourselves. That's not Fox. That's Sony.
Yeah.
Well, we can get into another Fox story later at the end of the movies. But Sony... I think Fox should also take this same page because they're screwing up Fantastic Four almost as much.
It sounds like they're really messing up Fantastic Four.
I just really want them to get Spider-Man right because that is my favorite character.
Same with me. And the closest Spider-Man has been overall right for me was Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
The closest movie, Spider-Man 2, the closest in terms of character is Amazing Spider-Man 2. If they could mix that together, it would have been great.
Yeah. All right, Zach, you got a story. We'll let you read if you can do it. You ate a lot of algae, though.
So, The Hateful Eight will be the 8th
I
film.
love it if your paper wasn't in front of the camera.
Oh,
So,
excuse me. It's the 8th film? I thought Kill Bill was the 4th.
I didn't write
I
this.
think if they count them together,
I think the
Kill Bill
counting
1 and
is
2.
I think
Yeah.
they count Kill Bill 1 2 as one.
Okay. So, The Hateful Eight will be the 8th film by Quentin Tarantino, the director is still planning on retiring after his 10th, which will be a very, very sad day. A few years ago, the director suggested the retirement plan. Now, with his 8th film almost ready to go, he's more serious than ever. Quote, I don't believe you should stay on stage until people are begging you to get off. I like the idea of leaving them wanting a bit more. I do think directing is a young man's game, and I like the idea of the umbilical cord connection from my first to my last movie. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone who thinks differently, but I want to go out while I'm still hard.
You gotta love him, man. You
I
gotta
like
love him.
that. And I will leave a 10-film filmography, and so I've gotten 2 more to go
Because
after.
he has a penis.
You know, if he does do the 10-film filmography, that's going to be one heck of a box set. The quote information came from Deadline, which was on him, blah, 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 blah. It's not etched in stone, but that is the plan. If I get to the 10th and do a good job, and I don't screw it up, well, that sounds like a good way to end the whole career. If, later on, I come across a good movie, I won't not do it, just crap.
He's a better filmmaker than he is speaker.
Yeah, because I said I would.
Or Zach is just not good at reading.
There's a lot of negatives going on.
Yeah,
No, there are not negatives, but you can read that.
You
right.
could
It's
still
like,
do it, yeah.
If I come across a good movie, I won't not do it just because I said I wouldn't.
See how easy it is, Zach? It's easy.
But 10 and done, leaving them wanting more, that sounds right. That could be a long way away at this point. Tarantino had physically wooed the buyers at AFM, talking about how The Hateful Eight was going to be a 70mm event. If we do our jobs right by making this film a 70mm event, we will remind people why this is something you can't see on television, and how this is an experience you can't have when you watch movies in your apartment, in your man cave, on your iPhone or iPad. You'll see 24 frames per second play out. All of these wonderfully painted pictures create an illusion of movement. I'm hoping it's going to stop the momentum of the digital stuff.
Oh,
And
no.
Good luck with that.
no.
And that people will.
What did you just say?
Good luck with that.
Oh, okay.
I love film, but it's.
I thought you said something else.
The momentum isn't. It's not that digital is trendy. It's more convenient.
Yeah.
It's an easier format to do.
And it's orders of magnitude cheaper.
It's more convenient. It's cheaper, and you can ensure its integrity longer.
You know, I say that though, and then we've got animated movies. Big Hero 6 costs $165 million.
Well, that's not because it's on
Stellar.
digital.
Distribution.
That's more about the viewing of it, not the making.
Distribution is easier, and you don't have issues where film deteriorates and degrades over time.
Here's the thing. I agree with what he's saying here, how he wants to remind people, because we just had this discussion about what a real film-going experience is. But I think you can do that but still own the future, or you get trampled. You're going to get left in the dust.
I think it's still fine to use 70mm, but I think trying to stop the momentum is not the right way to think about it. It's like, I'm still going to use this niche product, and people are going to appreciate that, and they'll still have a place to go, but it's not going to stop other people from
It's
using
kind
70mm.
of ridiculous to even.
It is.
He would later go on to say a plan where his Hateful Eight would open in 70mm alone for at least 2 weeks, or maybe even a month before going to digital. It's a plan on this much larger scale than Christopher Nolan did earlier this week in Interstellar. If that's true, road trip, because I don't know where the nearest 70mm.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I heard that he was going to actually use this new format that's 65mm.
Inside baseball. I'm calling it out on
I totally trolled him over that.
And
Man, he was so mad. Thank
I
you.
would go
for
see
that.
it. I would go see it if it requires a road trip, depending
I
on
would
how
too.
far out. I don't know what the furthest 70mm would be.
I'm wondering if they have it in Chattanooga. Do they not have it in Chattanooga?
You say Antioch?
No, I'm saying Atlanta.
No, Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's
But,
very
yeah,
far.
it would be fun to actually see it in 70.
I think that would be cool as well. The funny thing about Tarantino is kind of jumping over to comics. He co-wrote or produced a Django Zorro crossover, which the first issue
Yeah,
came
that's
out.
been in the works. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Did it come out?
It's out. Yeah, the first issue came out today.
Okay. Cool.
I flipped through it. It's kind of weird because Zorro is older, like not too old to where he can't do the job, I guess, like Anthony Hopkins. I guess think of Mask of Zorro, Anthony Hopkins at the beginning of the movie when he's older Zorro but still Zorro and about to retire. Roughly that age of Zorro.
But do we still get Catherine Zeta-Jones?
No, we don't get Catherine
Well,
Zeta-Jones.
damn
But
it.
we do have Jamie Foxx Django in it, and he's pretty good.
Do we get Zorro the Gay Blade? Because that was pretty.
That would
That
be
was
pretty.
pretty.
I would like to see
That would
that
be worth
comic.
watching as well. Quentin Tarantino writing that would be pretty entertaining.
Quentin should just make that movie.
I agree.
Okay, so you guys got to bail me out. I had the perfect segue about movie-going experience into my story, but now you went to the comics.
So I was just thinking, if we went to the 70mm screening, it would be like an awesome movie-going
And
experience.
speaking of movie-going experiences,
Aw, how sweet of you.
I know.
Good to be a friend.
That's
So
how I do it.
it is a problem. You go to the theaters, you pay a bunch of money now. I want to say too much, but we all do it. So evidently, it's not too much. You expect a good experience. You don't want to see people talking on their phones. You don't want the bright light
Ooh.
from the phones and texting. So one thing you do, you tend to go to, you think you go to the nicer theaters, like maybe around here, you go to Green Hills, you go to
This is a
Art
long
House.
lead up to the actual
Yeah,
screening.
You'd think you'd have a better experience.
This is like when you tell jokes.
Yeah, it is.
Take
it
it
is
now.
better,
Wait,
yeah.
we get the
Yeah.
punchline.
So here it comes. The
Uh-oh. Here
man,
comes the penis.
The man.
He-Man, was at an American Film Institute screening of Mr. Turner, which I don't know about.
I have
that
no clue what movie that is.
But evidently it's a classic because it's American Film Institute screening it. But when he asked a woman to stop using her cell phone, she was texting and the bright light was bothering. Evidently he asked her repeatedly to stop and she didn't. And finally he tapped her on the shoulder to get her attention. And at that point she blew up and started rummaging around in her purse. Actually, she turned on her phone's, the flashlight app on her phone to face the man, and then she rummaged through her purse and got out her mace and maced the man.
That is
Right in the
If
theater.
She-
you're
Amazing.
playing at home, kids, that is the inappropriate response.
Yeah, the inappropriate
You don't
response.
get your cell phone out.
Exactly.
Oops.
Yo.
The appropriate response is to put your cell phone up.
The
Yeah.
appropriate response is to not be in that situation.
Yeah, not to be in that situation in the first place. But and evidently the way the article is phrased, it's kind of one of those crazy stories. You kind of wonder if there's not more to it. But the article states that people asked her to turn off the phones. Evidently it wasn't just this man, one man, but evidently he's the one that got maced.
It
He
probably
ended up,
happened more
I
when
think
she put the
he was.
flashlight
Yeah, I
on.
think
Yeah.
he was the first one, and then more people's like, "Hey, turn it off!" Like
Yeah.
putting the flashlight. Thing.
Yeah.
That's a bad one.
He ended up leaving with a companion. Of course, he'd just been maced. I would think that
I would leave as
that's
well, yeah.
What I would just come as close as I ever do to running from her. But she continued to watch the movie.
Well,
She was in there for 20 more minutes. They never stopped the movie. She was in there for 20 more minutes before security came to and escort her out.
Hashtag makes the face, LOL.
That's some good security right there.
20 minutes.
20
That's
minutes.
a while.
They were waiting for the pee break. You
It's
know?
like the
a
Hollywood
slowdown minute.
Reporter called and asked the AFI about it. The AFI rep said there wasn't an incident, and it has been handled, and everyone is okay.
See, they had to wait for the mace in his eyes to kind of subside
Yeah.
so he could point out who it was.
I guess maybe that's it. Yeah.
I mean, really, it makes no sense. Like, look.
It would probably be the woman in the center of a row of seats with no one around her.
Probably.
Probably the one texting while she's watching the movie.
I bet she was easy to identify.
Probably so.
But you know, maybe they got all blown up. Maybe she was just wanting to spritz her popcorn.
Maybe.
Maybe she just want some what?
This stuff's
Put some
pretty
pepper on the popcorn.
Yeah.
No, it's 20 minutes. Like, look, somebody just got maced. You should be sitting security in there as soon as they can. Maybe security was just like
Maybe I don't know. If we were the security guard, you know,
I wouldn't
some guy
even sit
comes out, you know, with
Yes,
his,
on the
his
channel,
eyes
you heard me
rolling.
break.
I wouldn't even have
And,
said security. The guy was assaulted. I would be sitting
that
in
was
the cop.
assault.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
should have probably ended the screening for a few minutes and
Yeah.
taken care
Yeah.
of business.
Because
Brought the lights up. I'm sure if I were in that theater, I would definitely want that woman out of there straight away because it's bad enough that she's being rude and everything, but that you assault somebody?
Yep.
There needs to be special classes for people like this, where they show them like videos of like don't use your cell phone,
Yeah.
and they have the machines that keep your eyelids open, so you just have to watch it for like
Exactly.
Clockwork Orange.
Exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, basically, and you have to watch it for the length of Interstellar, and
Then while you're watching it, someone runs into the room and swats you on the nose with a newspaper and says,
no! And then afterwards, there's like a class that you got like electrodes attached to you, and you're in a movie theater, and your cell phone's in your
And you have to
pocket.
sit through
When you
the
start
longest
reaching for your
movie.
cell phone, you get electrocuted.
That's a good
Man,
one.
after that, you wonder why we want to watch movies on our
Yeah.
smartphones because the electrodes thing that just went too far for me. I'm out.
Well, then don't use your cell phone in a theater.
I want to watch a different movie on my cell phone while I'm watching the main movie on the theater.
No,
No, because you get electrocuted then.
Right
Mike
on the
was
nipples.
talking about being in a nicer
Unless you like
theater
that thing,
and going
then
to
that's
like
good.
a
Maybe you
nicer thing. I went to the viewing of Gone with the Wind at Green Hills. It was very nice, and it was so cute because there were there was a group of like people probably like my parents' age were like 50, 60, something like that, and they had gotten dressed up like they were going to the opera, like formal dresses and tuxes. It was adorable. And my friend and I had gotten like nice, but not, horrible. We were sitting in between the two rudest people on the planet. Over on his side, this guy, he was a huge guy, and he just like kept jiggling his popcorn and he sounded like a pig. And on the other side, a girl was literally on her phone like this.
See,
Phone straight up in
I don't mind
her
the
face.
I
popcorn
don't like
guy.
the popcorn guy. Because I'm not
And
going to say you
it's
can't.
Gone with the Wind.
I've been known to get all up in a bucket of popcorn every
Yeah,
now and then.
once in a
Yeah,
while,
but I
you didn't
was
eat
talking
lunch
about,
or
like-
whatever.
Yeah, once in a while, like, if you ever getting like the Carmike giant refillable
Yeah.
popcorn bucket,
I might go Cookie
and
Monster on that
accidentally
popcorn.
finish it like halfway
But
through on
you
your
gotta
own.
wait. You gotta
Yeah.
wait till something loud's going on.
That, no.
You can't munch in the
You
quiet.
throw
part.
so you throw down on the popcorn.
You gotta wait till something's happening. You get noise in your car, and then
But
stop
even
when
then,
it's
like,
quiet.
I usually
I'm
finish
fine with, like, a
before
little
the
bit of
movie
munching.
starts.
This guy was the loudest.
Opening trailers,
I have
I'll be done.
ever
Me
heard.
too.
He wasn't sitting next to me. He was sitting next to my friend Robert. In fact, there was a seat in between the two, and I could still hear him.
So
And he belched it.
I was
So,
in
the middle of Gone with the Wind.
You know, I was about to say that I kind of would like a day when people would like dress up again for theaters, and then I realized no, I don't, because I don't want to do that.
you know what
I'm
else?
glad we don't do
Here's a
that.
tra-
I'm glad I'm a lazy slob.
I'm about to segue blam you. Here's a transition. So, the other time I've seen people dress up in movies is for the Christian movies. Don't you know something about that, Mike?
Oh,
Wasn't that awesome?
I do know something about that.
Segue, bitch.
Segue.
Blam.
Have any of you guys seen the Kirk Cameron Saves Christmas trailer?
I have
I
know
Yes,
it's happening,
it
but
looks
I've
horrible.
not seen the trailer yet.
It's interesting. I do recommend going to see the trailer. It's of course you can kind of guess where he's coming from. It's the whole idea the secular powers that be are
Try not to be
encroaching
insulting.
on Christmas and and maybe there is okay. Well, I just won't get into it.
You don't want to be
Yeah.
insulted
I
by
can't-
might
I
not be the
can't-
best person
yeah.
to
It's
do
true,
it.
I'm a little
But it's even beyond that part of it. It's just it just looks it's just awful. It's him, basically him doing an extremely long monologue about saving Christmas, about how his brother-in-law is not interested in Christmas anymore because it's just so commercialized, and he's going to. I'm looking
at the poster, and I like
the poster is amazing.
The poster looks really cool.
The poster
Kirk
is
Cameron's doing like an action kick with a giant candy cane.
I'm gonna put it right here if you're in the video.
But the trailer is just,
here
it
comes.
It's just so bad, it's hysterical. Because it just looks like some made for the web. You don't say made for TV anymore, because that could be actually pretty good. It's like some bad made for the web series or something.
Wow.
It's just embarrassingly bad.
So, I feel like the studios that produce these films are kind of taking the Marvel route. Where when we said Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel doesn't really care what they're doing anymore. It turned out we were wrong about Guardians of the Galaxy, but I kind of see them doing it with Kirk Cameron. They're like, yeah, Kirk Cameron saves Christmas, sure, let's make that.
At the end of the movie,
they'll see it.
Excelsior, bitches.
After the credits of the movie, you have Samuel L. Jackson talking about the Avengers Initiative.
Exactly. The big question I have about this movie is, why were you watching it?
Yeah, where were you watching it, Mike?
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be atrocious.
That's
so
true.
I watched it, and it was.
Okay.
Were you sober?
I'm not even going to see
I was
it.
sober.
And
I have no plans to see the movie.
Whereas your sister will see
Yeah,
it.
that's another about. He only watched the trailer.
Oh, I thought you watched the movie.
No.
Holy
The
crap.
movie's not out yet.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, okay.
We spent a long time talking about it.
Did you really?
The trailer.
Okay, now I feel better. I'm like, Mike actually watched this movie?
No.
Wow.
Although it was almost bad enough, it might be.
Alrighty.
Speaking
I'm
of movies that are coming out.
speaking of movies that are coming out, but this might be actually a good one, and it's not got Kirk Cameron in it.
That's true.
we know
Toy
of.
Story is coming back for another installment, and the original film director, John Lasseter, is on board to direct. The film will be released June 16, 2017. This is exciting, if trepidatious news for Pixar and the series. Pixar has increasingly relied on sequels for big hits while creating great new properties, have been put on the back burner. It's likely that Pixar's move towards sequels is in part a large result of being owned by Disney, which would rather see Pixar continue to mine its most successful properties, of which Toy Story is the most beloved. Lasseter tells LA Times that Toy Story 4 will be a love story that picks up where the previous film left off, with Andy giving his toys to a young girl named Bonnie. Finding Nemo, Stanton and Lasseter have reportedly been working on a treatment for Toy Story 4 for the last 2 years. During that time, they brought on Rashida Jones, who has starred on Parks and Recreation, Will McCormick, and other people as well. We love these characters so much, and they are like a family to us. We don't want to do anything with them unless it lives up to or surpasses what's gone before. Toy Story 3 ended with Woody and Buzz's story with Andy so perfectly that for a long time, but we've never even talked about doing another Toy Story movie. Regardless of what you're feeling about Pixar's sequels, having Lasseter on board is a great sign. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's horrible.
I say no.
Toy Story 3 was such a perfect capstone.
It really was.
So
It was.
wonderful.
And
balls.
I cried.
I
It
even
was-
shed. I did the
I
crybaby
did not
single tear.
cry.
I
Yeah.
didn't cry in that
Of
one.
course.
I did.
No. I'm not saying it wasn't set. I'm just it didn't.
No, I was teary-eyed.
Yeah,
and
but
that
you
was-
cried at the end of Cloud Atlas.
It was fantastic. And
Did everybody
it was the perfect ending.
No.
I do not see. The only reason I would see going back to Toy Story is if it's new toys.
Oh,
If it's
yeah.
new story,
I could
not
get
Buzz.
on board
Yeah, if
with
it's just
that.
like we're gonna do a new
Yes.
person and new toys.
I actually don't, because I feel like you're just going to retread where it's already
I think that's true as well, but I don't see any reason at all to go back to Woody and Buzz, except for maybe like the little shorts that they've been doing for
Those
like
are cute.
Halloween.
Those are
That's
great. I love
great.
those.
That's
I
how
think
we
those are
need
great.
to have those
And
characters.
I think doing those like in
Remain
front of
relevant.
major Pixar movies, I think is a good idea too.
You know,
I don't think there's a reason to have a full theatrical
and
movie.
the article actually makes a little bit of a point that it feels like, Disney more so now, over the last few years than ever has had this really push on sequels.
Yes.
It's
well,
really dumb.
I can
Which
remember a
it's
time
saved
when
money.
Disney didn't have a lot of sequels. Like the major films that came out every year, Aladdin, all
I was
those.
about to say
There were no
the
sequels.
90s.
We got a lot of Aladdin
And
sequels.
then,
Well,
then
but
we
I
hit
don't-
a
a lot of,
point.
like,
Then we hit a
geeky
point, and it was all these direct to
Yes.
video.
I don't
That's
count the
fine.
direct-to-video ones.
Okay.
Because that's, I don't count those. That's just something for kids.
But
It's not,
But now it's all going to the theaters. And again, the Toy Story trilogy was wonderful, but it's a trilogy.
It worked.
They
It was
cannot,
done.
yeah, and they cannot tack on a fourth one.
You know who wouldn't direct a fourth Toy Story movie? Quentin Tarantino. He'd know when enough was enough.
No,
But
he might
you know-
direct it, and then he would direct it in 70mm film.
Or-
Even though it's a digital art form.
or if you bring Joss Whedon back on it now, he's liable to just kill those fool toys off.
So
That's what he does.
well, they almost did last
Yeah.
time. The only almost glimmer of hope is that Lasseter is coming back and doing this, and I have.
Lasseter did Cars 2.
I like Cars too.
All right, that's a
He
valid
did
point.
Cars too.
You
Oh,
directed
that's so
and
sad.
wrote Cars.
Well, I will say
That's a valid point. I removed
I
that.
like
Yeah.
Cars.
Yeah.
Steven say
Cars
they
2 was
brought
probably
on
better than
new-
Cars 1. I
Hang
did
on,
not like
hang
Cars
on.
1.
If they did new characters, because they were Lasseter
A new
was
Toy
talking
Story.
about. He was talking about all of Bonnie's toys. So maybe if they made it with Bonnie's toys, it might have a glimmer of hope. But they made a huge deal that both Tom Hanks and Tim Allen were back on.
Tim Allen needs a paycheck.
Of course he does.
Is he on a show?
No, Tim Allen has a successful sitcom.
Is it successful?
Well,
is it still on?
It's
It's been around for like 6 years.
Yeah, it's been going for a while.
6 years?
Yeah.
6 seasons, I think.
Yeah. It may
I'm
not.
gonna call 4.
It may. Well, either way, if you get more than one, you're
If-
doing
if-
pretty.
if-
That's
darn
true.
good.
Very true.
I had no
If
idea
you
who
can
was
get
still
into
on TV.
syndication, that's what you're looking
And you know what is still in
100 episodes.
syndication? Freaking Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's still in syndication.
Of course, I still watch that on like sad days.
So like, is there new episodes or is it just?
No,
No, it's in syndication.
Does
I don't know what
Home
that means.
Improvement.
All right.
do the
okay.
days start sad or do they get sad when you watch Home Improvement?
All right.
I
So
start sad and then it makes me
just to
happy.
correct ourselves, it is 4 seasons. Dwayne was correct. It started in 2011, but it's still going.
It's still going. And at 4 seasons, on the sitcom season, he's either hit or about to hit 100 episodes, which is more.
Which, by the way, has
Money.
Last Man Standing has had Home Improvement guest stars.
Yeah,
guest
they've
stars as well.
had fun with
And Jonathan Taylor Thomas has been on
Yeah,
it. and
so-
whatnot.
It's got Nancy
All
Krause
of
on it,
that big
she's fun.
circle just to say he's doing fine. He
Yeah,
doesn't
so
need a
it's not
paycheck.
that- it's not that-
Zach.
Something.
This is
No.
Yeah.
Tim Allen doesn't need money. Tom Hanks sure as heck doesn't need money.
Disney doesn't even. need
Disney
money.
doesn't need money. But I don't know. It really does feel lazy. I want to see Pixar doing more original films.
That's what
I honestly kind of. I had this same.
Couldn't they learn their lesson from Monsters University, which was?
Oh, Monsters University was terrible.
I had the same thought though when I saw
Yeah.
Big Hero number 6 because it seems
Right.
Disney Animation is doing original movies
Mm.
because we had Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph and Tangled and now we have Big
Brave.
Hero 6 and well Brave was a Pixar
Oh, that's right. Dang it.
but no you've had a line of movies that are original pieces that we're not getting
Hey,
announced for sequels.
Excuse me, Mike. Could you take out your pad and write down that Catherine just quoted a Disney situation?
That I got
incorrectly?
something Disney wrong.
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah,
I
you
would-
need to make a note.
I think it's fair to say that the Pixar golden age is over. It's done.
I kind of am afraid you might be right.
I honestly kind of agree, given the fact that they have new projects in the works.
You may
They-
want to write down
the
the more
Inside
than
Out
podcast to bring
and,
it back. Also,
yeah.
just saying.
the Inside Out,
Yeah.
and they have like a dinosaur one that's still like the Good Dinosaur. It's still taking a while to get to.
And the
Big
Good
Hero-
Dinosaur. That sounds like it could be good.
In Big Hero number 6, there was I think a Pixar trailer for a new movie. Maybe the Inside Out one. It was like all based on emotions.
Yes.
Yeah, and that one looked really good, but it looks like they are trying to definitely supplement whatever the heck they're working on with these short, quote-unquote surefire bets of sequels of their popular franchises.
But then that just sort of splits their attention.
it does.
I
So the-
love that Pixar was so afraid that if they let Disney buy them, that all they would make is sequels,
And that's what happened.
and that's what happened.
Ridiculous.
It's depressing.
Because there was a time there was a time where Pixar held the spot that Marvel holds now, where it feels like they just can't do anything wrong.
And we could be worried about Marvel getting in that same.
And
it helps that Marvel has announced their slate until 2019.
Yeah.
So you gotta know they're not gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, the other difference with
it's not until 2020.
Marvel is. Since
Marvel's already
it's coming from the world of comics.
Everything.
Marvel's got pre-established. They don't have to
they're pre-established. That's the way to say it. Pixar didn't. Pixar was taking everything just from the air.
Well, and the other part is too that the Marvel form of storytelling is custom made for sequels. That's what it's about.
That too. Like Marvel's movies are serialized. It's spaced to go from one movie to another. Whereas Pixar's aren't, except for when they make a sequel directly on it.
So when you force these sequels on them, it's not working. So.
Speaking of unnecessary sequels,
TV.
Actually, no. I do actually have another story.
I was actually talking about that.
Oh wait, we have a. We may actually have to cut a TV story.
Well, we can get this one too, but
no, go ahead.
All right. So the new Fantastic Four movie, which we talked about earlier, being produced by Fox. Actor Toby Kebbell, or Kebbell,
that sounds about right,
will be playing Dr. Doom, and he's talked a little bit to Collider about how the character is going to be portrayed. First off, his name's not Victor Von Doom. It's Victor Domashev, and he's not a despot ruling a country in Europe. Instead, he's going to be a programmer, with his blogging alias being Doom.
So he's not Dr. Doom at all.
Yeah, he's not Dr. Doom. I doubt he's actually got a doctorate.
Yeah, probably. This sounds like what's happening with Fantastic Four is exactly what happened with Spider-Man, with the villains. They don't know how to do villains.
I get more of a feeling that it's just that Fantastic Four is a hard property to get. It really isn't. It's not
I disagree
quite.
with you.
No. I think it is for
3 movies prove you wrong, Stephen.
Hard property for them to get.
No,
you want to get it?
Let's
go back to Pixar and watch The Incredibles.
That's what I was trying to get across. Is a hard property for them to get, for Fox to get, for people who think it's just a generic action superhero movie. And The Incredibles did it right because it had superheroes, but it was the family unit.
It was a family.
The Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie ever made.
It is.
And that's what Pixar should be making a sequel to.
That's what they should be making. That's a film right there, The Incredibles. That's again custom built for franchising.
Yeah, we talked about that.
They're going to make Incredibles 2 and Incredibles 3, but they are making Incredibles 2.
That's the one they need to sequelize more, because it is a superhero movie.
Yeah.
But they got it that it's about the family unit. It's not this action, fight the bad guy thing.
Yeah.
It's more about family. It's more about adventure and science. And it's superheroics is one of the lower base elements about it. It doesn't matter as much. And
well, if you look at like the very original Fantastic Four comics, the early ones, they didn't have costumes.
Yeah, early on, it took them a while to actually wear the costume regularly.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing that we have to talk about, at least for a minute, is the Star Wars film title announcement. Dwayne and I almost got into a debate about it, and I said, let's just wait. So the name of it was
The Force Awakens.
You said it so
The
enthusiastic.
Force Awakens.
It's worse than Attack of the Clones.
But is it worse than Phantom Menace?
Hold on.
Actually,
Yes.
Who here is positive towards the title?
I'm
indifferent.
okay. Yeah, I'm indifferent. I'm not positive, but I don't hate it.
Who
So-
here is negative?
So
Looks like the Dwayne.
I'll take
I'm
that.
kind of.
well, then you're in the
I
same
don't know
boat.
how you could say it's worse than the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's like what the Phantom Menace implied nothing about that movie.
I
thought
like
that title.
The Phantom Menace is a
I like
good
that
title, except when you relate it to the movie it's about.
No, I feel like
I think it kind of worked.
Yeah,
Because
there is.
you gotta not think of it Phantom like as a physical phantom. It's like
I get it, but it's not.
They were looking.
Okay, I'll say it this way. The title is better than the movie.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We all agree on that.
I don't think that's
But-
going to be. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic, but I don't think that's going to be a problem.
I'm trying to think about how
I made the joke when somebody asked, "When was the Force asleep?" And it's like it slept through the prequels.
That's okay. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, pretty
good. That
good.
analogy that it went to sleep.
I like this title a lot more now.
Okay, so I was thinking about it, and when we started to discuss it, and I was about to try to give a reason for the title, Dwayne looked at me and said, "Don't you dare justify this title." And I'm like, "We're saving up for the podcast then."
I think it's easily justifiable. I think the movie is going to be about the Force kind of tapping into more people.
And it's kind of like the return of the Jedis and the whole thing, because if you think about the end of Return of the Jedi, I mean, wasn't it? It was basically he was the only one.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi honestly kind of didn't deliver on it because Leia had some slight abilities, but I don't think she's really going to develop it. I think basically The Force Awakens is going to deliver on the promise of Return of the Jedi, in that the Jedi's actually going to return. They just couldn't use that title because it's already been used.
Again, you're thinking Return of the Jedi as the plural. It's not singular. The Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Well, that's not a very Jedi.
Title.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Really
but isn't Jedi like
Jedi
fish?
would be the
I think
plural,
Jedi is plural.
But then what's the singular?
Jedi. I think it's like fish
Oh.
or deer.
Oh. Well, isn't that complicated? How about that?
Oh no, Star Wars is complicated.
Hey, we are males.
I mean, you also have to remember this movie is taking place 30 years after Return of the Jedi. So,
and that's why I'm having a problem with the title. Like, I feel like
Skywalker's been doing nothing.
Well,
I feel like we should be dropped into
after
I don't know.
the second Death Star blew up, he went to Disney World.
I love Star Tours.
Then he had the first Jedi Academy, which burned down, and that was a horrible, tragic loss.
It could just
probably because
then the second Jedi school kind of the same thing happened. So it's the third time around. You know, third time's a charm.
It could just be the fact that Force users after pretty much after the Empire kind of either tried to kill them all or turn them into Sith, that they were kind of almost extinct, and now they're kind of the Force is starting to reawaken after a kind of balanced in the universe.
It's probably.
I think it fits the title. I think
it's probably something like that. I just find the title to be a little boring.
It sounds a little bit generic, but I'm sure once we get more plot specifics, it's gonna make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So does that mean that the midichlorians...
Then again,
don't you dare bring out midichlorians.
I was sitting here thinking the same.
Hold on.
Imagine Luke Skywalker going around the galaxy with
Catherine,
that.
I do want to play the devil's. I do want to cut back on myself. All right. I want to go back on myself and play devil's advocate for one moment. This is Abrams. This is the guy who gave us Star Trek Into Darkness.
It's true.
So titles are not his strong suit.
And that's kind of what scares me, because this is a guy who gave us Lost and that really great Mission Impossible, and then he gave us mediocre Star Trek movies.
Well, no, I'm just talking about straight up titles.
Did he already?
Star Trek Into Darkness.
Did he already?
Really?
Bad title.
That was
It's
a bad title.
But did he
They're
already?
attacking the darkness.
I think he may have already.
I don't think any of them were wizards using magic missile. Let's get that
What
straight.
if he shot his Star Wars load all over the Star Trek franchise, and now he can't make a good Star Wars movie? I'm just saying, he's done now.
He has no
So wait,
Star
he
Wars
pulled
blood
out?
left.
He always pulls out.
You didn't
Well,
say
he
into,
did.
You said
He didn't pull out
Yes,
of
that's
Star
true.
Trek.
That's assuming what he's pulling into is the darkness.
All right. So
Since Zach mentioned the M word,
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead
Yes.
and tell you all, we're going to go to the screening together, and here's how this is going to go down. The first time they mention midichlorians or younglings on screen, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to go, F this, not again, and walk out of the theater. I bet we might have a lot of people.
I don't get the problem with younglings.
Like,
But
that's a dumb name.
well, okay,
It's
the
a
name's
dumb
dumb, but I get it.
Yeah,
so,
that's a minor complaint. The
whereas
midichlorians
midichlorians
thing.
conceptually is
Well,
stupid.
yeah,
It's
I
like
100% agree with you.
If they mention midichlorians and we're not doing the F this thing, if there's not an audible in the audience, I will be...
No. It needs to be in the movie. It needs to be like someone's gonna mention midichlorians and Luke or Han is like, oh god.
No,
not this
no,
one.
no,
Yes.
What is the over-under on Jar Jar Binks appearing in this film?
You're gonna get his head on a wall somewhere. That's gonna be the
That's
best
true.
thing. All right. So television,
so let's go to
Dwayne.
TV, and
Speaking of evil things we want dead.
this story we need to keep in the
After
rundown.
years of rumor and speculation, we now know the future of the Evil Dead storyline, and Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are both involved. Thank God. Stars has ordered 10 episodes of an Evil Dead TV series. Campbell will star in Ash vs. the Evil Dead. which will serve as the continuation of the 3 Raimi-directed Evil Dead films, which culminated with Army of Darkness. In other words, here's your Evil Dead 4, kids.
I'm good with it.
I am too.
But instead of an hour and a half, 2-hour movie, we get a 5-hour TV series. THR reports that Starz has recruited director Sam Raimi, producer Robert Tappert, and star and co-producer Bruce Campbell for the 10-episode half-hour series, which is set to premiere in 2015. This marks another reunion of Starz.
You really like to emphasize
Starz.
Producer Raimi and Tappert.
You want some
who were
Za while
behind
you watch some Starz?
Spartacus. Sam Raimi will direct.
Does that mean there's going to be penis?
Pilot.
in Army of
Is it going to be Bruce Campbell's?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell,
He
right?
he hasn't
seen it in a long time.
That wasn't even where I was going for that joke, but that was a great follow-up.
He's co-writing with brother Ivan Raimi and Tom Spezialy.
That's pretty cool.
I am very excited about this. Campbell's going to reprise his role as Ash, as Stock Boy.
Is he still a stock boy?
Shane Cohen. That's what I
That's
want.
best. I want him to be the
I
same
want the
guy.
first scene to be them at S-Smart. And he's not even got a promotion or anything. He's still working in hardware, stacking kids. It's going to be so great.
He's selling the shotgun. Doing the whole
Exactly.
spiel.
I love the whole Ash as an older guy.
I do too.
It's just such.
do
I
too.
just hope it's good. The only thing I don't like about this series is each episode is a half hour.
That seems
It's too
really
short.
short for, I guess, kind of a dramatic thing. I mean, dramatic is
Can't be dramatic.
Yeah,
Melodramatic.
but it won't be just a straight sitcom comedy. So
I hope they play up the serial aspect of it, because I see it being kind of a Doctor Who kind of thing, because some of the earlier Doctor Who episodes are 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
but they're all
They
like
really-
like a 4-part thing.
Right. But
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is what they're
But
going
dude,
for with
they could
this.
actually kind of do it. Like, it would be like an old-fashioned serial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope
It's
that's
like
the
10
route they
episodes.
take.
You could have basically like 2 or maybe 3 serials in it.
Catherine, did I make you watch Army of Darkness?
No, not yet.
Then it's
That needs to be fixed.
That is a
Before
plan
2015.
right away. That needs to be fixed before.
Have you seen
the
Evil
end of
Dead or
the
Evil
year.
Dead 2?
I saw the remake.
Start with
Okay,
Evil
no.
Dead 2.
No, they're different.
They're-
Well, no,
they're
I know
different.
they are.
No, I
was
mean,
just
like,
saying, like
in
the
every-
only thing close to.
I don't think you really don't even have to watch the Evil
You
Dead.
don't, but
You kinda
it's
don't.
so great.
You may what you may want
Yeah.
to do is you may want to actually go in reverse order. Well, not quite reverse, but Army
Tonally,
of Darkness, then Evil Dead 1 and 2.
tonally, they're very different though. The first Evil Dead is a really innovative, straight-ahead horror movie.
Yeah.
The second one is the first one over again, except hilarious.
Yeah, I was about to say, you really, Evil Dead 1 doesn't even fit in the series
No,
anymore.
it
And
doesn't.
technically Evil Dead 2 doesn't after
That's-
Army of
That's what I
Darkness,
said.
but
Army of
I will
Darkness.
start with Evil Dead 2 because
I honestly think-
hilarious horror movies.
It sets the tone.
Honestly,
so-
think Army of Darkness.
That
probably
is
the
movie
better
night
one to
here
start with.
in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna watch both of them right here in this place, and we're gonna drink, and that's gonna be
Hey,
awesome.
I don't have to drive home anymore.
I
Just
only
walk
have-
home.
I really
Yeah.
only have one thing
Or
to say
just-
about this movie.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
you're pretty funny.
nicely said,
Yeah.
Zach.
So now
All right,
that that's
so
over, what's
let's
new on
go.
Blu-ray?
New on Blu-ray this week. In case you're interested in the story that we skipped on, how do you synopsize it really quick?
There's a new Foundation series. It's
a
going to be
great group of
HBO
books.
from Isaac Asimov, and it's going to be brought to you by Jonathan Nolan, which is Christopher Nolan's brother and co-writer on a lot of his movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look up those books. Just go look them up. They're good. Okay, on Blu-ray this week, How to Train Your Dragon Part 2.
You mean just two?
Just part. Whatever. There's better things to watch.
I like the movie, so move on.
I just did that to him.
I know.
Let's see. Batman, the complete series, limited
That's the
edition.
Adam West one, right?
It is the Adam West one. Jersey.
Someone buy that for me.
Yeah, that will be awesome. Jersey Boys, How to Train Your Dragon 2 in 3D, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, The Lost Missions.
But no one can.
Then we've got True Blood, the complete 7th season, Tammy, extended cut, Why Waste Your Money or Time? No, she's awful. Then The Great UHF.
That's a long title.
It is, it really is. UHF, a classic.
Which is totally worth it because it's
Totally.
awesome.
Yes, it is.
I have to
And a
go
very
with it.
short time.
And then another waste of time, Let's Be Cops.
No, I want to see this one.
Don't even know that one.
That's
I love
well,
it.
movie
you
series.
can
Movie
see it
series
for
complained
free
about for
if you will
years,
write
for
a
months.
review.
What?
I said you can see it for free if you write a review.
Oh, of course.
Okay, I'll get it to you.
Done.
Ooh, there you go.
So,
Do it.
in comics this week, for Marvel, we have all new Captain America #1, Captain Marvel #9, Spider-Verse #1, Superior Iron Man #1, and Thor #2. From DC, we have Batgirl 36 and Batman 36, Constantine 19, Justice League United 6, and new Suicide Squad #4. In the small press, we have Copperhead #3, Django Zero #1,
I'm gonna buy this.
Red Sonja 13, Resurrectionists #1, and X-Files Season 10 #18.
Nice. I feel so stupid because we've really been neglecting the comics in the last few weeks, but I've been so busy.
The full list of everything that comes out, as always, is on the website
It
right
is.
now. Or will be. I don't know.
But
I actually got to the comic shop today to pick up my weeks of not having gotten books.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to power through some. Superior Iron Man is basically spinning off of the Access storyline where certain characters' personalities get inverted. Good guys turn to the bad guys turn to the good guys. Basically, Tony Stark turns into a douchebag.
which is
More than usual.
not a
Okay.
long step for him, yeah.
Well, he also starts drinking again and partying, and he basically moves to San Francisco and releases an app that gives everyone extremists that turns them all into basically supermodel bodies.
Yeah.
And later on, it realized it was free, but it shows that no, that was actually a temporary demo, and to get it, it's $99. It's $99 a day. So, and it's Daredevil's dealing very heavily in this because it takes place in San Francisco, where Daredevil has moved to. Yeah. Daredevil right now is also really good. Thor 2, Thor 1 ended with the female Thor picking up the hammer. Thor 2 is the entire issue is just her having the hammer, and it's really cool. We still don't know who she is, but you can tell that she's familiar with Thor. And she kind of seems not Asgardian because all the inner thoughts that she has is kind of in regular vernacular. Mm-hmm. But when she talks, it's in straight up kind of Asgardian, almost Shakespearean dialogue. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird thing to see. I really like that one. I didn't pick up Captain America. Honestly, I don't care about Falcon being Captain America.
No, not interested.
Mostly because if we didn't just get off of Bucky being Captain America, I would be more interested. Like a decade had passed.
I wasn't really on Bucky, but if you were,
it was really good storytelling. I wasn't okay. I see what you did there. Oh, anyway, it was just too soon, and
I agree.
It's obviously not going to last. I just don't care.
Right. Do you wonder if it's some sort of teaser for what they might do in the movies?
No, because I think if they were but I think if they were going to do it in the movies, they're still going to go with Bucky first.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I've still got a lot of books I need to power through. I need to catch up on Access. I accidentally missed an issue, so I can't read the latest one.
I need to do like you and find some time where I do nothing but catch up books because.
Yeah, it helps that I have this entire
week.
Yeah, I had this entire week off, so that helps.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I sat down with the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, did you purchase it?
Nice. No, I found it on. It's fortunately on Redbox.
Oh,
wow! So yeah, Redbox has recently started carrying next generation games.
Nice.
I was glad to find something that was so close to release date.
Mm-hmm.
It's Call of Duty. There's nothing really pulling me in to play it more than I have.
Kevin
Spacey shows up in the game, which is weird.
He's in all the commercials.
Yeah, I hope it's something that they don't keep doing because I don't feel like it's almost Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
but not really.
It's more like it's his Frank Underwood character without the southern accent.
Yeah. But it's just kind of weird to see. I'd rather him just be them come up with a unique character model and have him voice it. That would be great.
Well, given the fact that
like they usually do with Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Ironside loves video game voiceovers.
Mm-hmm.
The Modern Warfare, I think that was the one. Call of Duty, was it the fourth one?
Modern Warfare.
That's the only only Call of Duty game that I finished because the Modern Warfare ones tend to be a little more arcadey, where the others are a little too heavy on the war, like battle simulation things. You got to be really perfect with the sniper rifle and all this. I like the spray and pray and run and
shotguns.
Yeah, I think you want Halo.
I want Gears of War. That's what I really want.
Yes.
That's what I like. Give me the weird gun with the chainsaw hanging off the end, and I'm ready to go.
And if you're an Xbox Gold member, Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise is free through the 14th or the 15th. So you still got 2 days.
People love those games. I've never played any of them.
I tried to start it the other day, but it wasn't making a lot of sense. So I put it down for now. But I'll go back to it.
It's a game with pinatas that do stuff. You know?
Yeah,
but it's free.
It's free.
Dwayne values very well put together stories in his pinata games.
It's
I
true.
do.
Just like Zach in his My Little Ponies situation.
Aww.
Just saying.
Your death shall become a very well.
Oh, he's been
the whole thing.
Yeah,
Have a moment.
You were given it. You were. The spotlight was on you, and nope.
You had your chance and you blew it.
Are you really off of My Little Pony now?
Yeah, I'm like done.
He's gone through rehab. He's going to the meetings.
I'm like
he's going to the Ponies Anonymous meetings.
Yes, Catherine. He finally got off the little pony.
Aww.
He fell off the horse, as it were.
What am I going to make fun of you for now? Oh, wait, there's lots of stuff still. Okay. I'm still calling you a Brody bitch.
You can still make fun of me for like when I screw up, like moments like that.
I guess that means I
it's
can
got to be every permission because we weren't going to do it otherwise.
If you ever need anything, just hit me up for blackmail material because I have Zach dancing now.
Well, I saw it.
Come on now, he was out there tearing it up. He was having a good time. I don't think.
How did you see it?
There's video of it.
Oh.
Yeah. He was kicking it. That's true.
I think we have to, as a group, I think we have to decide right now that we can never make fun of each other for getting up and dancing.
Okay, yeah, I'll accept those parameters because we are like nerdy dudes.
We are nerdy old
Awkward
boys.
dances.
This is why I just
the
don't
only
dance.
one who can do it is Catherine, and that's because she's a girl and she has a vagina.
Hey, it's not just because of that. I know plenty of girls with vaginas who are not good dancers.
Yeah, because that
it
same
doesn't
night.
have anything to do with all that work and practice and.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just because
nothing to do at all with having a degree in performing arts. Nothing to do at all with the fact that I
wouldn't have anything
teach
to do with
dance.
that.
Come on, Catherine Nolan. I mean, just saying.
Wow.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
Dwayne, where can we find you online?
Find me on Twitter, Dr. Worm75. That's drworm75.
There you go.
Find me at twitter.com/NicoStream.
Make it what?
On Google Plus under Clovis Chitwood and on CultureSmash.tv.
And Catherine?
You can find me crying my eyes out because the one person in this room who I thought believed in me just doesn't.
Oh.
And he doesn't think I'm a good dancer. So you're just going to find me crying in my own
Does
little
that take
corner
away
of
your
the internet.
danceability? Was it the belief in your dance that kept you dancing?
It's not true. I still believe in you.
Now
I
you
just
have
gotta
to
give you
applaud so she can dance again.
Exactly. I'm like a fairy.
Boo!
No.
Boo!
You can find me on Instagram.
No. He's saying
That one doesn't bother.
He's not saying boo. He's saying brewer.
I was saying boo.
Boo.
Oh, nice.
Sewers.
Boo earns. It's a
Uh,
Simpsons thing.
Oh, okay. The Simpsons thing. Don't know it. I don't even know that one.
Zach, where can we find you?
Yeah, Zach, good
You
question.
can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Steam, Dangerous Youth Lunatic. You can also find me on Instagram, Master of the Matrix 91. And you can also find me on YouTube, Space Mountaineer 91.
why do you have a different name for every single social device? This
Why is he
doesn't make
mute
sense.
on Steam and not on here?
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea. You want to kind of segment yourself.
That's
Like,
the
if
funny
things
thing.
are ever to go wrong with Dr. Worm 75, like, I'm all over the place with that. I would have to expunge myself. So.
That's the funny thing, actually, about when I get on multiplayer games. Multiplayer games. I actually mute my
Plays a
mic.
lot of math
At
games.
first, I just mute my mic and they're like, "We can't hear you, bro. Seriously, we can't hear you." Oh, I get it. You're so mute. No, I mute myself.
Well, with multiplayer games, that's a completely different thing. But I'm talking about, like, with your YouTube and your Instagram and everything else. It all has different things.
Okay, full transparency. My original YouTube was Master of the Matrix 91. And then I learned the harsh reality of if you uploaded copyrighted material, they will take your thing down and you will never be able to use it.
And you really don't need people touching your thing.
They will take your entire thing, no matter how many views or
Your whole thing, not just
How
one
many
ball,
uses
but
your
both of the
thing
balls
have?
and the
And the shaft.
And the shaft.
His thing has had 100,000 views. Did you hear that, KJ? Nobody's getting the joke. Damn it!
Yeah,
we got it.
I got it. I just
It was like the 5D joke.
100,000
He was
people
trying to
have
make
looked
roll.
at it out of shock and fear. No one has
Fear,
touched
I
it.
don't know.
So, Steven, where can we find you online?
But yeah, this needs to wrap up. This is
It does.
not going well.
You can find me on Twitter at CultureSmash. You can find me at CultureSmash TV on Facebook. CultureSmash everywhere. We have the only thing I feel like a failing at is our Pinterest. So I need to put pictures up there.
I know, I should be better at that since I'm a girl, but
Yeah.
just like babies and weddings, I don't get Pinterest.
Okay, that's a good place to end it. I guess we'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
That's pretty fun. Not gonna lie.
We start talking about Zach's thing. That's always a sign we need to end it.
It's time to end the show.
Okay,
I
Catherine,
was
so
gonna
there.
make